Welcome to the Stretch to Go podcast. My name is Ian Ray, your host. And today I have Dr. Marlene Chin from the Athlete Spa, owner of Jamaica's Recovery Spa there. She's also a DPT, RPT, FST, CKTP, and hailing from Kingston, Jamaica. Dr. Marlene, welcome to the Stretch to Go podcast.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So I want to know, first of all, are you from Jamaica? Did you move there? What's your story?
Yeah, well, basically, my parents are Jamaican. I was born in New York, but my parents are Jamaican, and we actually went to high school here. My parents returned home, so I decided to come back and help. Everybody else is kind of busy, married with children and stuff. So I was like, I'll come back. And I was like, well, what am I going to do when I get there? So it's kind of
That's
how I came
awesome.
back. Yeah.
How long you been in Jamaica for? Since when?
I came back in 2021. It was about 4 years. Yeah.
Nah. Were you in Manhattan area or Long Island?
I was in Long Island, yeah. Freeport.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I'm down here in Maryland, so not too far from where you're from, but
I went to Howard, so I know Maryland well.
okay. Cool. Howard University down the street.
That's right.
So, Dr. Marlene, can you share with us what are you doing at the Athlete Spa? What's your mission there, and like how did you get it started?
Well, Jamaica has their own PT program, so they're graduating PTs by the droves, and so it's kind of saturated with physical therapists. So I was like, if I come back, I don't want to really focus on too much physical therapy work. I've been doing that for the last 20 years. I want to do something different. I am impressed with our athletic population down here. They're very talented. So I wanted to do something specific for the athletes, and hence the Athlete Spa. And a lot of my work focuses on fascial stretching and a lot of other modern holistic type of therapies. So I have like the only cryo chamber in Jamaica. I do whole
Nice.
body vibration. I do, the red lights, all of that good stuff. So, I wanted it to be unique, outside of the box, and something that I know can really be impactful on our particularly youth athletic population.
Got it. That's awesome. Holistic health, it's very important. I'm sure not a lot of people probably know about it. And so it's great that you're building that awareness, especially in athletes, so
Yes.
Kudos to you. How did you get started? And I guess, first of all, how did you find out about fascia stretch therapy to stretch to win?
I'm trying to tell you, oh man, it was a fluke. I tell you, I was looking for some continuing education classes for my PT degree. And a friend of mine told me that, she went to a stretch class, and I probably really like it. I should go. I'm like, well, why don't you just teach me? Why do I have to go to a class? So she was like, no, you really have to go and experience it. So I initially went to the first class just to earn some CEUs, and it was fantastic. It was fantastic. And 4 years later, I just finished the class in September, which is the first, I will tell you, and the level 4. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. Sports. What does my thing say?
Sports
Certified
specific.
level 4. Yes. Sports fascial stretch specialist.
Ooh, that's so awesome. That's so awesome. You're one of the first class to do that. So congrats. So I'm sure, so I know probably people haven't heard, but for those who did go to level 4, can you kind of give us a glimpse of what separates that level 4 from level 3?
That's a good question. I think that in level 4, they get it more into details. Each level you kind of going down the different layers of the fascia. And when you get to level 4, you're really getting deep down into the tissues. Their focus was emphasized on the foot, which is crucial to the population. So we did a lot of fantastic footwork. I even started a new service that I posted the other day for fascial foot therapy. So it is, and the foot, the shoulder, just going into different techniques. We did a lot of assessment wise, especially in the athletic population. They complain of pain, but they got stuff. So we did a lot of SI work in there. So it was just more drilled down, a really specific and detailed, and it was an eye opener. And that foot fascia thing, bro, It's a game
Whoo!
changer. It's a game
Uh,
changer. My
man,
gosh.
ever since I got into doing, ever since I got into doing fascia stretch therapy, I mean, even before that, I was a proponent of barefoot, barefoot training, and how the foot is so important. And so I switched out of regular conventional shoes to barefoot shoes and more. But, growing up in the island, Hawaii, like we grew up barefoot. I'm assuming a lot of people in Jamaica too, barefoot because you're at the beach. So,
That's
but
right.
it's just the concept of that foot is the foundation from the ground up, and many injuries can be fixed, or maybe could be you could assess as far as like what's happening. So I'm excited. I mean, that's down the road for me, but I'm excited for you that you can use this as a service for your athletes.
Man, it's fantastic because if you in the athletic population, especially in the youth, even
Mm-hmm.
my nephew, and he's 10 years old, baseball. He came to spend the summer with me, and I'm working on his training. He's flimsy. He's just weak. So I'm like, okay, let's assess him. He has super flat feet at 10 years old, where his ankles are literally touching the ground. I mean, like that has to affect his performance, his injury statuses. Remembering all these athletes that I've worked with on the field and off, a lot of them have super pronated feet where their ankle and their hamstring, number one injuries out here. It seems to be. I mean, I haven't done a study. I'm in the works of doing that, but it just seems like there's an enormous amount of hamstring injuries. And I honestly believe, in addition to probably some training issues, that it has to do with their feet. I'm almost convinced. So we're going to see.
Oh man, that would be fun to do like a long study as far as that with performance and especially youth, because obviously if the more you go down the line, 30s, 40s, I mean, it could have been prevented from a younger age, and same thing, like I look at my kids, I'm like, you guys are switching to barefoot shoes because I don't want you guys to be like me, so like it has to start somewhere, right? So
Exactly.
so how are you including fascia stretch therapy into your practice? I know you do cryo, you do different stuff, but is fascia stretch therapy one of your main services, or is that kind of where
Yeah.
you mix it into?
Fascia stretch is my signature service. Almost everybody that comes into the clinic, I suggest, because a full body stretch session. Because it not only gives us insight about what's happening up and down that chain, and it's also informative to the client because they get to see, man, I didn't know that this area was this tight, or I thought my pain was on the left, but this kind of hurts on this side. So I usually recommend my signature service that they go through the full body fascial stretch, level one stuff, just assessing, and of
Mm-hmm.
course doing some treatment to make sure they walk out of here and feel the difference. You understand? So
Yeah.
it goes with everything. I think the physical therapy part of my practice, I mean, I do have some physical therapy specific clients, which is my passion is neuro, right? So, these stroke clients or patients who are unable to walk, that's always been my passion. But forgot what I was going to tell you. But the idea is that everybody usually does the fascial foot. Oh, the physical therapy component comes in as far as the at the end, the exercises. I mean, we can stretch all day long, but if we do not correct the tissues with
Mm-hmm.
a good strengthening program, then we're just providing temporary relief. I'm here to resolve issues, not mask them.
Sure. 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 And that's why it's great to have the FST into PT, your practice, because it's the stability and mobility, flexibility, it all incorporates together. So
100%.
Uh, share with me some recent or even past success stories that you've seen with athletes with the fascia stretch therapy treatment.
Man, the list
It's
goes
just
on and on. I don't even know what to tell you. So I'm going to tell you a quick
whether
story. When I
yeah
first,
whether if it's a recent one or like something that stood out to you.
so okay, I'll tell you something that draws my mind, which was when I first started out. When I came down here, I'm trying to advertise. Of course, nobody knows what fascial stretching is. And of course, they think it's, this thing, or whatever. It's like, yeah, no, it's not that. So as I'm advertising, a coach actually hit me up on Instagram, was like, hey, I'm interested, I liked that for one of my athletes. So I was like, okay, cool. am I breaking up or are you okay?
Hmm.
Okay, so I did a full body stretch with one of his athletes and picked out quite a bit of stuff. Now he was younger, so we have class one, twos, and three. So he's class three at the time. And as I'm doing my stretch, you know how we do the assessment of the pelvis. Yo, his pelvis is not moving. I'm like, dude, how are you even running? Because it's not moving. It's rigid. So now you're putting a lot more stress on the hamstrings and everything else up and down the chain. So we started working on that. And apparently I got the whole team. So I worked with the whole team. And that kid to this up to just, well, champs will be coming up again. But last year, he won gold, in champs. I mean, it was a big difference. And I talk to him all the time, and he's like, just informing him about that pelvic mobility, and flexibility of the hamstrings and everything that he felt in the stretch session really helped him with his training to make him win gold. It's just, and their school is the underdog. So when they won, everybody was looking at me. I was like, that's
Hmm.
my team, so that's pretty much a very, very good success story. I mean, the list
Okay.
goes on and on.
So how would you explain to someone what fascia is?
Oh man, I actually did a video on this when I started out. Yeah, so I did a video and I took a piece of chicken. Yeah,
Okay.
took a piece of
Yep.
chicken and I pulled back that skin and I said, "You see this thin, filmy stuff here? This is fascia in the body." And you can, if you, and I kind of sorted through the chicken because the fascia goes deep. It goes between the meat of the raw chicken now, not cooked chicken, raw chicken. Yeah. And I was like, this is how fascia is. It goes deep all the way down to the bone as I'm digging through the pieces of chicken. So I think that's a really good visual for what fascia is in our body. And it's all connected. If you were to go through the whole chicken, you would see that everywhere.
Hmm. No, definitely. I think I like that. I think it's great to have video showing and you dissecting it, the chicken, so people can see like, oh dang, that's the superficial
Yeah.
fascia. That's the deep layer fascia.
Yeah. And I always tell them, and most people, like we do with our chicken, we discard the fascia, not knowing what we're doing, but discarding the fascia in the human being could probably be very detrimental.
Hmm. Um, I guess another thing too I want to ask you is like, did you have any initial hesitancy or have you heard of people like, I guess when you first looked into FST, did you have any hesitancy at all enrolling into the class?
No, no,
Okay.
I love to learn new things. I like something to be unique about what I do, and I thought it would
Hmm.
be a good touch, into what I was doing. Especially when they started, it was called fashion. I'm like, man, what's fashion? Like I mean, I've heard of fascia in PT, but not at this level. So no hesitancy at all. I was excited to go in and see if I could learn something new, and I'm glad I did because it's been a game
Yeah.
changer for me, no doubt.
And as far as like your business, I know you started 4 years ago. What has been the strategies in making I guess, the most effective way to growing your business since you started 4 years ago? What's been the most effective way to, for people to know this is what Athlete Spa does, this is how, athletes can recover, so forth?
I think that it's a combination of things. It's a combination of things, and it requires a lot of patience and determination. It hasn't been an easy road. I can tell you in the 4 years, I probably started seeing real growth last year, but I think that what was most beneficial to me, it was taking these regular people, right? The
Hmm.
athletes, of course. I mean, I didn't know what the outcome was going to be, but they shined in a not international, I'd say in a national way. So it kind of highlighted, man, I mean, of course, training is a big part of their success and the determination and the will of the athlete. But I felt like I played a good part, and I backed those guys from the beginning, and I think that was the most important thing. And I didn't tell you that I treated that whole team to this day for free, for free. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you got to give a little to get a little, you know what I'm saying? Or give a lot to get a lot. So yeah,
Hmm.
to this day, I actually, here, remember it's Jamaica. It's a lot of the schools, especially the country schools, are not that. fortunate financially, you know?
Sure.
Yeah, so I did it for free, and actually I love the coach, and because he's forward thinking, you know what I'm saying? So I actually
Mm.
sponsored uniforms and all
Ooh.
kind of stuff for those guys, equipment and everything. Yeah, so I got some sponsors, and myself and some US sponsors, yeah, provided them with uniforms and gym equipment and stuff like that. So it's been very rewarding. So yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure, like, because you're hailing from, I mean, you live in Kingston, so like it's a very tight, close community. And so people know, like, okay, this is, Dr. Marlene, she's been sponsoring us, she's been providing us. So people will know the brand of you and what you do. So that's
That's
awesome.
correct. Yeah, that's correct.
What's your long-term goals as far as with Athlete Spa for your business? Like, how do you see in the next 5, 10 years, or you kind of go year by year, or what's the eventual long-term goal?
The long-term goal is, I already envision it. I see it. It's not very far away. I can tell you that much. It is a master facility, yes, where we are incorporating everything for our athletes. So not only will we have fascia stretch and all the effective tools and treatments, like for example, my next goal is to do the Parisi Speed School training.
Yo, yeah. Okay.
So yeah, so I'm gonna have the recovery, the
Uh-huh.
training, clinical psychologist, because that's very important, nutritionist. So it's just one big conglomerate go-to place for assessment and recovery of our athletes.
Okay. Dang. How'd you
Yeah.
hear about Parisi Speed School?
You know what? Parisi, he actually did a pop up on one of the Stretch to Win newsletters or videos or chats or whatever. So he is actually, I didn't do it yet because he is still trying to, because I called already. Trust me, I was going to take the class, but they're trying to incorporate fascia into their training. So that's what I'm waiting for when we have a fascia specific training to, yeah. So it's coming up, they said.
That's crazy because my early days of when I first got into FSD, I'm still with the Parisi Speed School here locally, the gym owner, and so like I just know what to do with younger athletes and all athletes. But I remember I seen clips here and there on YouTube of Bill Parisi mentioning about fascia and the fascia training and how it impacts especially those with endurance or like a speed work. And so I was like, dang, even Bill Parisi knows. And so that's like, that's legit. So
That's exactly right. Yeah. So that's where I'm going next, bro. That's where I'm going next.
that's a cool. And then as far as my last few questions I have for you is, how do you see fascia stretch therapy evolving in the next few years? I mean, Ann and Chris has been doing this for almost 30 years approaching, but it's 2024. How do you see FSD evolving?
You know what? Oh man, it's gonna be massive. It's gonna be massive where they're gonna be fascial stretch schools popping up all over the place because primarily because I mean it won't be as good as well, I don't know, but Chris and Ann are fantastic instructors. They make you feel in the community, but the actual fascial stretch technique is going to be a game changer, and it's going to blow up like like massage therapy or whatever else, where they have in their own school. They're doing internationally because the results don't lie. And so the more people start seeing these results, the more people are going
Hmm.
to ask, and the more demand there's going to be. So it's going to be um like going to PT school or massage therapy school. I definitely could see that.
I think I've heard of since they opened the Australia training down there. I
Yeah,
know it's been growing, and I know for a fact too that a lot of practitioners are from different countries. So hearing more stories of practitioners coming from out of country to learn from Chris and Ann, and then going back into their respective countries, I think it will help spread the awareness of how fascia
absolutely,
stretch therapy can help people in general
absolutely.
public. So yeah, I'm excited too. I'm excited to be in a field that should be known, but it's unknown right now. And that's why we're trying to make this more of a a well-known thing in the community, and of course, health and fitness and wellness, what you call it. So my last question I have for you is, if you could tell that one person who's on the fence about enrolling into the Stretch to Win Institute Fascia Stretch class, what would you tell them?
A quick, you got to do it. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. And the experience it's almost difficult to describe, because once you get there, there's this sense of community that, you belong, and that you are a part of this elite group of healers in the world if you just apply yourself. You know what I mean? You just,
Mm-hmm.
you got to do it. That's what I say. I can't even show, I can't show you. You just have to go experience it for yourself. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's just like FST. It's like, I can't tell you what I do as an FST practitioner. You just got to get on the table and it'll show itself. Well, Dr. Marlene, I appreciate you jumping on podcast today and giving me your story and what you're doing there. Looking forward to hearing more of what you're doing there in Jamaica, and hopefully it'll blow up. And of course, as your business grows, looking forward to hearing more conversations, hopefully in the future. But please share with the audience how people can follow you or to book a session with you to do a fast stretch or any type of recovery session there in Jamaica. So if you want to share with those your social media handle, a website, an email, and then the physical work location you're at. Go ahead.
Yep. So you can find me at theathletespa.com, which is our website. I am on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at AthleteSpaJA. I'm physically located in Kingston at 65 Red Hills Road, down the street from Calabar High School, by the way. And always, you can WhatsApp me international at 876-895-03. And my email, always available via email, which is theathletespa@gmail.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Dr. Marlene. And for those of you who are listening out there, want to learn about how Dr. Marlene and I got certified and learned this beautiful craft, please visit www.stretchtowin.com, where you can learn more about how to become a practitioner in your place, in your area, in your practice. It's a game, like I said, game changer. And don't forget to please follow, like, subscribe to the Stretch to Go podcast, where we upload every Friday at 7 a.m. new episodes. So thanks, Dr. Marlene.
Thank you, Ian. I look forward to seeing you in person.
Yes, ma'am. Take care.
Later.
Bye.